Good morning. It is Thursday, October the 13th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Well, this morning, our top story, fresh assurances from a top government advisor that bonds that are tied to the Barbados Optional Savings Scheme Plus are safe and there's no danger of losing your investment. Economic advisor Dr. Kevin Greenidge has been updating the morning report on the Boss Plus initiative, which allows the average Barbadian and those in the business sector to invest in the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program, BERT 2022, with a very favorable rate of return, 4.5% over a 5-year period. He says it's a guaranteed means for receiving a return on investment while supporting efforts to grow the local economy.
That's one way in which individual persons, businesses, private sector financials can help be part of the BERT program. If when persons buy the Boss bonds, which is absolutely safe, and I don't want to go through why it's safe. I mean, just to say, for example, when we did the restructure in 2018, we had no choice but to restructure debt. Saving bonds were not restructured because you recognize that those are owned by average Bajans, persons individually. And so these Boss bonds are the same type. And there's no restructuring horizon. Even if there was, this could be part of them. 2, they offer attractive interest rate of 4.5, which means if you put down $1,000 at the end of the 5-year period, you get $225 back plus your $1,000. But if you put down it in a bank, you get back 7 cents, and you probably don't get $1,000 paying fees. So it's a great financial instrument. But the most important thing to say is that by participating in bonds, in these purchases bonds, you are helping to finance the BERT 2022, which allows us to do things to build this economy and get the growth that we all want to go at. So it's a ring all wrong for everyone.
Dr. Greenidge is appealing for more Barbadians to take advantage of the Boss Plus bonds offer to help build their financial portfolio.
We are not seeing the movement we want to see on the Boss Plus bonds. I'm not sure, perhaps we're not marketed enough. A person don't know about it enough and don't understand it enough. And that's why I think we need to do a bit more of these conversations where we can walk persons through the bond, what it's doing, the pros and cons. I can't find any cons, but just explain persons, average people. You got 200, you got, I think minimum is 500, you got $500. I'm not saying put all in Boss bond. You could keep some in bank, put some in credit union, buy a piece of something to invest in. But also, as part of your portfolio, you should add these to it. They make great investment, but you're also being patriotic in purchasing them.
The economic advisor, Dr. Kevin Greenidge there, he's the economic advisor to the government of Barbados, and he has been speaking to the Morning Report as part of the Prime Minister's delegation attending the annual joint meeting of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank in Washington, D.C. It is the first in-person gathering for the forum since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, coming up on the Morning Report, updates on the COVID-19 pandemic and also the war in Ukraine.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from one of Barbados's greatest wonders, the amazing Harrison's Cave Eco Adventure Park. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near you, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are
Results of a vaccine hesitancy survey done by the United Nations Children's Education Fund, UNICEF, show people are now less likely to take the COVID-19 vaccine. The survey was presented to the Minister of Health and Wellness, Ian Gooding-Edgell, and other high-ranking medical officials at the UN headquarters in Worthing, Christchurch yesterday. Trevor Thorpe was there.
Barbados has sustained control of the COVID-19 virus. The revelation from Minister of Health and Wellness, Ian Gooding-Edgell, as he addressed the presentation ceremony for the second COVID-19 Vaccine Hesitancy Survey Report 2022, attended by UN, UNAID, and high-ranking local medical officials. In expressing his thanks to UNICEF and to USAID, the minister told the ceremony at the UN headquarters the challenges of vaccine hesitancy will call for a political commitment and the financial investment of the private and civil society sectors.
The COVID-19 Vaccine Hesitancy Survey 2021 for Barbados indicated that the limited uptake of COVID-19 vaccines has been an ongoing challenge, hampering the response to the pandemic across the Eastern Caribbean sub-region. We in Barbados are very aware that engaging with communities and persuading individuals to change their habits and behavior is a linchpin of a public health success. Addressing vaccine hesitancy is no different. I am pleased to note that under the general findings in the report, of the 7 countries surveyed, Barbados was one of the least vaccine hesitant.
Chief Medical Officer, the Most Honourable Dr. Kenneth George, in his remarks, said children have not been the drivers of the pandemic, but acknowledged a survey of the protocols for schools was coming, but there is no more mandate on mask wearing.
We have a few, for example, the prisons and the geriatric hospital. Why? Because they are vulnerable populations. But, and presently, we also have mask wearing in the schools. We are examining the evidence though, and we will be making a pronouncement at another time.
Cadres was commissioned to do the survey. Director Peter Bickham gave some background on the elements of the exercise.
The Vaccine Hesitancy Index, and we now get into the core of it, is one of the key features of both studies. And the Vaccine Hesitancy Index was developed in association with UNICEF, specifically for this purpose, because we wanted to be able to track some of the critical information in relation to the issue of vaccine hesitancy. The methodology is pretty well spelled out, and I'm not going to go into that here. But essentially, we have a score and we have an ideal. So the score can range from let's say 10 to 1. The idea is that you want to have as low a score as possible.
During the study, social media emerged as a power, and government and other officials have been encouraged to harness that power and challenge those alternative outlets which may seek to promote myths and misinformation. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
The Barbados Government Information Service has received its Caribbean Broadcasting Union Media Awards after winning in 3 categories at the recently held CBU Caribbean Media Awards in Trinidad and Tobago. They were presented by CBU Secretary General Sonia Gill at the CBU Secretariat here in Barbados. The BGIS won in the category of coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic with COVID Stories 246, Not the Common Cold. They also won Best Public Service Spot with COVID-19 Contact Types Explained, and also for digital coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic with COVID-19 Story, The Mathematics of a Virus. Winners in the category for coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic were Shamko Pyle, Sharon Austin Gilmore. Also there is Joel Bowen, Carl Allman, and Ian Ennis. Congratulations to the winners. The recipient of the award for digital coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic was Esther Jones, while Paula Harper Grant and Nicole Elcock won in the Best Public Service Spot. Speaking during the brief presentation ceremony, the Acting Chief Information Officer, Ian Ennis, noted although the BGIS was not present at the first in-person awards ceremony coming out of the pandemic, it was definitely a pleasure to have learnt they were winners in 3 categories.
When you think of the fact that out of 258 submissions, GIS was up there alongside CCN, TV6, RJR Gleaner, Great Belize Productions, and other regional entities speaks volumes to the quality of work produced within the department.
Let's go further afield now. We're hearing this morning 7 people were killed when Russia continued its bombing and bombardment of civilian targets in Ukraine.
It was a black day for our city. People are not evacuating, and as a result, at 7:40, the first strike took place on the market. At 7:55, a massive attack took place. Instantly, 5 people died. Later, 2 more died in hospital. All 7 dead today are women.
Well, the US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was leading a meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group. This is a group of some 50 countries that come together regularly to talk about ways that they can best help and support Ukraine. Lloyd Austin said that every time that Vladimir Putin escalated the situation in Ukraine, most recently with those multiple missile attacks in civilian areas on civilian infrastructure, well, Lloyd Austin said that every move by the Kremlin in that way only hardened the resolve of NATO members and allies to do more to help Ukraine. Now, the main way they can help, he said, is weapons. More weapons need to continue flowing to Ukraine. He also talked about Moscow's threats to use nuclear weapons.
And we continue to watch indications and any type of warning that he may have made a decision to go in a different direction. We've not seen any indicators at this point that would lead us to believe that. But again, this is not something we look at once and leave alone. This is something we remain focused on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Well, Ukraine's defense minister was also at the meeting, as were some of Ukraine's top military commanders. Now, Kyiv has repeatedly said that it urgently needs more weapons to be sent by its allies. That was also something that Jens Stoltenberg said, the head of NATO.
I welcome that NATO allies are providing air defense systems. That is extremely important. And I welcome the recent announcement by Germany and also the delivery of German air defense systems to Ukraine. And I think we all have seen why this is so important. The horrific, the indiscriminate attacks against Ukrainian cities.
Well, both Stoltenberg and Austin said that NATO allies were committed to helping Ukraine for as long as it takes.
In addition to civilian targets, Ukraine officials are also charging that Russia's attacks are also targeting energy infrastructures. 300 acres were left without power, 300 areas that is, were left without power in the dark for the first 2 days of this week.
Local officials have said today that all the utilities are back online, that water services have been reestablished, and that electricity services, which had been disrupted due to those Russian airstrikes that occurred on 2 consecutive days this week, Monday and Tuesday, that electricity was back on in all parts of the city and the region. Now, I can tell you that according to the local residents that we've been speaking with throughout the day, they are breathing a sigh of relief. They are breathing a sigh of relief because electricity has been reestablished, because there are no longer any blackouts. They're back in the light here. But they are worried about what exactly is going to come next. And when we've been speaking to people from Lviv throughout the day, they're saying that the reason for that is because there are people who are still somewhat afraid to come back out into the city. Lviv is a city and a region that for months had not experienced any airstrikes, had not experienced any attacks. And when we were speaking to residents throughout the day, they were telling us that because of that, that until this latest round of airstrikes, that there had been a growing sense of complacency here, that there had been a distance between the residents of this city, not really feeling like they were part of the war that is going on in this country.
6:18 is our time. Time to say good morning to Tisha to see what's happening on today's edition of Morning Barbados. Get that sneak preview. Tisha, what are you looking at today?
Oh, well, we have lots planned for you today on Morning Barbados. It's just before we head on in, and we're going to tell you all about the anniversary of the Soroptimist International Club Barbados, exactly what they have planned for their big anniversary coming up. Amanda Lynch Forster the president of Soroptimist International Barbados, will be here to tell us more about that. We'll tell you about World Sight Day as well. And we are also going to be talking to Corey Marshall as we highlight what positive youth are doing. That's all coming up on Morning Barbados.
Looking forward to it. See you in about 10 minutes' time, Tisha. Well, the Minister of Innovation, Technology, Science and Technology, Davidson Ishmael, apologizing for the slow delivery of those new ID cards. You will hear details and an update on the program coming up right here on the Morning Report.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from one of Barbados's greatest wonders, the amazing Harrison's Cave Eco-Adventure Park. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near
Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, Davidson Ishmael, has apologized for the slow distribution of the new National Trident Identification Cards. Speaking during a news conference at Baobab Tower last evening, the minister and officials from the Electoral and Boundaries Commission gave the assurance that production and distribution will be significantly ramped up in the coming weeks and months. Ryan Broom has more.
The minister says while there have been delays, the number of Barbadians who have been registered so far is now well past the 100,000 mark and climbing, and he notes the government takes identity seriously and that the government has taken as long as it has so far because it wants to ensure everything is done right.
To date, approximately 150,000 citizens have already been registered, with many more being registered daily, and several thousand people have already received their cards. Despite these successes, I regret that we have not been able to keep up with the planned schedule for delivery of cards for each and every citizen, and I therefore sincerely apologize for disappointing my fellow Barbadians who were keen to be amongst the first to collect their new ID cards.
Minister Ishmael adds that many of the delays have been linked to ensuring that security features and other unique aspects of the card are compliant with international standards.
There are several subsystems to the Trident ID system, some of which required custom development to ensure a robust identity infrastructure that is compliant with the acknowledged international standards of identity management. Each of those subsystems are required to work seamlessly together for the collection of registration data, validation of identity credentials, card processing and production, quality assurance, all the way through to delivery and pinning of cards. With that, it must be noted that it is envisioned that over time, the National Digital ID will become the cornerstone for all government services and create opportunities for new methods of service delivery.
He also answered questions about the overall cost of the card program so far, noting that government is committed to transparency with the project.
For the benefit of those who are genuinely desirous of knowing the costs associated with this project, MIST has invested $10,434,601.99 to be exact, spread over the last 2 financial years to deliver the Trident ID card to the people of Barbados. And for the many, many citizens who are actually now holding that card in their hands, that tangible evidence of the responsible utilization of your taxpayers' dollars and my taxpayers' dollars. As you look at it, the expenditures I just stated works out to a per card cost of less than $35.
And Chief Electoral Officer Angela Taylor has acknowledged that the number of cards actually delivered so far is still relatively low at just under 7,000 when compared to the 137,561 Barbadians already registered. But she is confident with the acquisition of additional printers and quality assurance machines, those numbers can be boosted in time for the March 2023 projected end of the old card.
At this point in time, I have 3 shifts working on printing the ID cards, so that persons are coming on at 6 in the morning and working till 2, persons 2 till 10, and another set from 10 till 2 in the morning. So based on the increase in the number of shifts, the number of persons doing the actual printing, and the additional resources we are expecting to increase the printing capacity, we still anticipate that we will be there or thereabouts.
In the meantime, Barbadians can continue to register for the card online and at the 13 listed centers until the end of this month. Ryan Broom, CBC News.
Government is working to pinpoint where its strengths and weaknesses lie in the event of a disaster. The Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, Senator Dr. Chantal Monroe-Knight, made the revelation as she led off debate on the Catastrophe Fund Amendment Bill in the Upper House. She says this, along with a recent audit done by the Ministry of Housing, will help the state in its effort to build resilience in the country's housing stock.
The government is working under a World Bank program to build up what we are calling a resilience map. And what that resilience map is intended to do is to be able for us to look and see the key areas of resilience across the island, match those where we have projects and programs and initiatives or lack thereof, to ensure that the government can then have a long-term view to see where it needs to improve in the context of resilience across this island.
In sports, the Barbados senior women's netball team has been put on notice. Come prepared to fight. That's the word coming out of Kingston ahead of the America's Netball World Cup qualifier set to start on Sunday at the National Indoor Sports Center in Jamaica. In an interview with CBC Sports, President of the America's Netball Association, Marva Bernard, says, while Barbados are the hot favorites, other teams have sought international expertise to prepare for the qualifier and future development. Only the 2 top teams will qualify for the Netball World Cup, set for South Africa in July 2023.
Trinidad and Tobago will be using Sue Hawkins from Australia, and Sue has such pedigree. I watched Sue turn around England Roses to where they are now. She's going to be helping Trinidad and Tobago. Jamaica's national coach, former national coach, Mineth Reynolds, is helping St. Lucia. Cayman Islands has a technical director from England. She has been with them for some time now, and that's also good. The fact that the presidents of these countries have brought in outside help. I preached the song. We collaborate off court and we compete on court. So I'm looking forward to some closely contested matches, because everybody wants to dethrone. I say it without fear of reservation or contradiction, that everybody wants to dethrone Barbados and Trinidad, who went the last time.
Well, the Gems' first match is against Cayman Islands on Sunday before they return to the court to battle St. Lucia on the 17th, the USA on the 18th, and then a doubleheader on the 19th against Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Bernard says the round-robin format will be a challenging one for the players and officials.
The teams that are participating say they don't play enough, so they want round-robin. Round-robin in this short window of time is not easy. It was not easy to organize. But the people wanted round-robin. The 8 countries said they want round-robin, so we are playing round-robin. 36 matches, 9, 8, 7, 36 matches. What they will have to do, they will bring 15 players, and hopefully if nothing happens, because if one goes down, they can substitute, but that is not going to be a room for it apply within. World Netball recognizes the challenge with player welfare, and player mean umpires and player. They have assigned another umpire. Normally we would have 10 umpires for a 9-country tournament. World Netball says, okay, this is hard on our officials, and they have added another umpire. But these are some of the things that we have to look at when we take the world stage with this, because I understand the need to play more matches.
That's sports this morning. Time now to look at weather. The temperature on the outside is 26.3 degrees Celsius, slightly cooler than usual. It's feeling like 31 though, with the relative humidity at 83%. The barometric pressure is 11.5 millibars this morning, and the winds are coming from the east at 22 kilometers per hour. Well, we're going to continue to watch what's happening with the weather. As you can see, things are clearing up in our region. Not as much cloud cover as we've seen earlier in the week, so we're expecting fewer showers as we go into Thursday and into Friday. There will be a low tide at 12 minutes past 11 this morning. The high tide will be at 28 minutes to 6 in the late afternoon. The seas are smooth to moderate in open water. Swells are between 1 and 1.5 meters. Today in Barbados, we'll have a mix of sunshine and clouds with occasional brief light to moderate scattered showers. And tonight, partly cloudy conditions will prevail with a few brief isolated light showers. And here's a look at the international weather forecast. And that's our time for this edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 7 with headline news. Up next is Tisha with Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning.
It's already Thursday, October 13th. Welcome to today's edition of Morning Barbados. I'm Tisha Hines. So glad that you decided to join us for today's program. Well, lots coming up for you today on the program, so we want you to stick around. Happy that you're up early enough to share, and just wondering what you're doing, so make sure you check in with us online. Remember, you can email us at morningbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Or you can check us out online. For those of you who are heading out, or maybe you want to have your relatives or friends across the world watch us in the morning and find out what's happening here in Barbados, and of course celebrate wonderful Bajans with us, they can check us out on YouTube as well as Facebook and Instagram, all CBC Barbados. So coming up today, we are celebrating a number of things, but of course, World Sight Day is one of those days that we want to tell you all about, not only preserving your sight, but also we want to share about people who have challenges in that area. But before we get into that, we are also going to be talking to the Soroptimist of Barbados. The organization will be celebrating their big Diamond Jubilee in November. So we're going to tell you all about what will be happening with that. The president of that club is going to be on to share with us. Plus, we're talking to Corey Marshall, a youth commissioner and project coordinator with the Division of Youth Affairs, who will be sharing about a program called Guinea Peace Pandy Mic. We'll tell you how you can get peace on that mic coming up later in the show. And then we celebrate a few exceptional youth from across the world who are doing big things in the area of climate change. But to get things started, let's welcome Amanda Lynch Foster, who's president of Soroptimist International Barbados. And she's telling us, like I told you, all about the amazing work that the Soroptimists will be doing and how they will be celebrating in November. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us on this morning, Tisha. Really appreciate it. Yes, as you said, Soroptimist International of Barbados, we are going to be celebrating our 60th anniversary this year on November 27th, on Sunday, November 27th, as a club. And of course, this is a huge landmark. Not every club is able to get to that milestone. So we're really excited about it. And we have quite a number of things planned, both for our members and then just also to highlight our legacy and history and our accomplishments as a club.
All right, let's start there. Let's go back a little bit, because we know that your club really aims at transforming the lives of women and girls through education, empowerment, and enabling opportunities. Some of what women and girls need these days, it has shifted quite a bit, especially in the advent of the internet and things like that. How are you continuing to keep the Soroptimist Club relevant even in your 60th year of existence?
Thanks so much. That's a really great question. We actually have a number of programs that are targeted at women and girls and responding to the immediate needs. And one of the things that I am proud about for us as a club is that we're really good at pivoting and responding to circumstances when needed. So of course we have our ongoing programs, our flagship programs that everyone would know about. We have the Soroptimist Village in Eden Lodge, which provides elder care. We have the New Horizons program, which runs at the Government Industrial School that's currently on hold, but we do have that program that's run since 1992. The Soroptimist Village has been open since the 1970s. And we have the Purple Teardrop campaign, which is a human trafficking awareness campaign. But in addition to that, we are a club that responds to circumstances. So for instance, during the COVID-19 pandemic, I really have to pay kudos to my two immediate past presidents, President Ramona Smart and President Crystal Maynard, because they were very good at responding to the circumstances. So in her year, 2020, Crystal became president in April 2020, just as the COVID-19 pandemic hit. And one of the things that we did in response as a club was to establish a COVID-19 food bank, because there was a lot of need that we were seeing and hearing at that time. We were getting requests coming in through social media, by email, from other women's organizations. There's somebody here, can you help them? So we responded that year by establishing the COVID-19 food bank. In 2021, the pandemic was not gone. And one of the things that has impacted us as a service club, as a nonprofit, is that it affected our fundraising, because our main fundraiser is a golf tournament. And it was scheduled for April 2020, so that got postponed. And then we weren't able to have one in 2021, and we haven't had one in 2022 either, because we usually have it in the first 3-4 months of the year. So Sister Ramona responded by establishing the Adopt a Unit program, which is there to support our flagship program, the Soroptimist Village. So instead of being able to go out and fundraise, we established a way to bring the fundraising into us. And another program that we pivoted during that time was our Sister Put Your Best Foot Forward professional development workshop. That's usually an annual workshop that we have that is aimed at developing workplace corporate skills and also entrepreneurship skills for women and girls. And the first few years was focused on business skills, so interviewing, that kind of thing. And then in 2019, we had actually pivoted and aimed at entrepreneurship development skills. And that came in right on time. In 2019 and 2020, we had workshops on that, because then when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, women, of course, were hardest hit in terms of their employment. A lot of women work in the tourism sector. The tourism sector basically shut down. And what we did was pivot that program. We established a mini series towards the end of the year, and we held that on our Instagram page and our Facebook page. So instead of bringing the people into the village, we brought them into our social media platforms, so to speak. And in 2021, we held it virtually. 2021 and 2022, we held it virtually via Zoom. And one of the things that we are doing this year, in our 60th year, is we've established the Sister Forward Academy, which is a spinoff of the Sister Put Your Best Foot Forward workshop. And it's a series of masterclasses for women entrepreneurs, because one of the things we realized during the pandemic was that women were trying to pivot themselves, trying to establish, pick up their side hustle so that they could supplement their income to create more financial security, or they had lost their job and they had to turn their side hustle or their talent into a business. So the Sister Forward Academy actually started at the beginning of this month, Saturday, October 1st, and that is one of the programs we've established. So these are some of the ways that we've tried to keep ourselves relevant as a club and responding to the needs that people have at a particular time.
Definitely a lot happening with the club, and so wonderful to hear that you're touching so many different areas that impact women and girls every single day. On a personal note though, there's so many service organizations out here. Why did Soroptimist grab your attention, or how?
That's a good question. I had friends who were in the club, I'll say that honestly, and I was really impressed with the work that they were doing. And then when I started digging deeper into the history of the club, I knew about the Soroptimist Village, as a lot of people did. But at the time when I joined, that was in 2016, 2017, I can't remember the exact date now. At the time when I joined, I didn't know about other programs like the New Horizons program that had been running for nearly 30 years. I didn't know the Purple Teardrop campaign, which campaigns and brings awareness about human trafficking. I didn't know Sister Put Your Best Foot Forward. And so I was like, wow, you're doing all of these things with a club of 40, 50 people? That's really impressive. And I would like to be a part of it. I consider myself a feminist. I'm, very much dedicated to the advancement of women and girls. I have 2 daughters, so I think I should be. And that is what really drew me to the club. It's focus on women and girls and just the scope of the work that they have been able to do for such a long time. And consistently. That was really impressive to me.
All right, that's absolutely good stuff. So let's go back to all that will be happening in this 60th year as you prepare for that big celebration in November. We want to remind everybody about how they can get involved, and I would imagine you're always open to new membership as well.
Of course. Actually, I'm really glad that you brought that point up. We are going to be having a number of celebrations for kind of focused on the members. So we are going to be having a reception at the Radisson on the 27th. We are going to be having a church service at St. Leonard's Church also on the 27th. And, we are hoping that members of the community can join us for the church service. On social media, we actually have an ongoing program, an ongoing campaign running right now that highlights the accomplishments and the history of the club. But the best way we think that we can honor our legacy as a club, as an organization, as a service organization, is through work. And one of the things that we're really glad about this year, in our 60th year, is that, a lot of the restrictions that were in place during the course of the pandemic have lifted, and that allows us to get right back up to full steam and do the work that we have. So one of the ways that people can support us is through supporting our work. So for instance, the Adopt a Unit program is still going on. You can contact us at sibarbados@gmail.com to find out more about it. Or you can go to bit.ly/SIB Adopt a Unit to find out more about it. That's a really great way that you can support the work of our club. You can support the Sister Forward Academy, or you can join the Sister Forward Academy, or you can join the club and actually put your hands in and commit to the work. So those are the ways that we are encouraging and inviting people to support us and to support the work that we've done for the last 60 years in Barbados.
Well, fantastic work, and let me wish you and the entire Soroptimist group a wonderful celebration as you look toward your 60th anniversary and continue to do what you do best, which is serve.
Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it.
Amanda Lynch Forster, president of Soroptimist International Barbados, telling us all about the Diamond Jubilee celebrations in November. It's already 6:43. Coming up, we are going to be saluting some positive youth, but before that, we're talking World Sight Day. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is no place like home, but over the past year, home has taken on an especially significant meaning for most. At times, staying at home may be limiting, but it doesn't need to be boring. If you're someone who is great at the DIY life and you've made your home a haven for creating and making new things, this is the show for you. Send us an email at morningbarbados@cbc.bb and share how you've been making it from home.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from one of Barbados's greatest wonders, the amazing Harrison's Cave Eco-Adventure Park. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near you, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Morning to you.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from one of Barbados's greatest wonders, the amazing Harrison's Cave Eco-Adventure Park. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near you, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 6:45, 6:45. Get on the move. If you have to get out of the house, you definitely want to make a move. And it's still raining outside, still drizzles. You know, a lot of water is kind of catching at the side of the roads and so on. I want to say a special good morning to the drainage unit and those other people who are taking care. At this time where there's so much rain, you know, usually you get a lot of craters forming in the road as well. So I recognize that the guys are out and patching some of those potholes for us and so on, because when they catch the water, believe me, you don't know, you can't see what's going on. So just be careful, and for those of you who have to get out and get your public transport, make sure you make it early, because when it's raining in Barbados, you know, that equals everything moves a little later. All right, the eyes have it this morning as we celebrate World Sight Day, and of course the theme for this year is Love Your Eyes. To talk to us about the observance of World Sight Day and to talk to us more about what's being done through the National United Society of the Blind and other affiliated organizations, let's welcome Dr. Charles Pierce, Rudyard Welch, and Megan Vaughn. Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody looks up and ready to go, and you know, I know you love early mornings and you're ready. All right. Yeah. I just need some smiles before we move. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Pierce. You're an ophthalmologist with the Barbados Diabetes Foundation. Talk to us now about the theme for this year, which is Love Your Eyes. And it's easy to say, but for some of us, we don't necessarily take care of our eyes the way we ought to.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me this morning. And that's absolutely true. The theme Love Your Eyes is very much an appropriate theme for this year. I think most of us take our vision for granted, and we don't realize how very important sight is to normal day-to-day activity until there's actually a problem. So we're saying to people, have regular checks of your eyes, especially if you have a family member, for instance, who has eye problems like glaucoma. If you're known to have any major health issues that can affect the eyes, such as diabetes, make that appointment to see any eye health care professional so they can have a regular check to make sure there are no problems developing.
That absolutely is important. Let's go to Rudyard now, who is past president of the National United Society of the Blind in Barbados. First of all, you know, we want to acknowledge the day, but you live thinking about sight every single day in your capacity, obviously, as past president and with the National United Society of the Blind, because you really work to cater to the needs of the blind and visually impaired. So talk to us about what an observance like this means to you, to be able to come on, get out, share programs, and so on, to spread more information about the needs of those who are visually impaired.
Good morning to Barbados, and thank you for having me on your program.
As the doctor said today, we are celebrating Love Your Eyes. And that was started last year with the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness. The National United Society of the Blind, we conduct seminars and workshops for persons who are blind or visually impaired, and also sighted persons, because we want to encourage the public to take better care of their eyes. Because, as the doctor said, this is a sighted world. And when you lose your sight, you have to readjust to a new way of life, a different way of life. We have a saying in our organization, there is life after blindness. But there's adjustments for that. Psychologically, emotionally, environmentally, financially, it affects you in every way. So, prevention is better than cure. So we would encourage persons to have their eyes checked at least once a year. And for our site there, National United Society of the Blind Barbados, we are having a walk on Saturday from Jubilee Gardens up to Broad Street. Some will go through Swan Street, make the right turn on High Street, meet up by Royal Bank, straight up to the Bridge Mall, straight across to Freedom Square. And we are being assisted by members of the Lions Club and the Hikers of Barbados. So any person who wants to come out and have the walk with us, we welcome you.
Well, you know, that's a great segue into Megan Vaughan, who is the first vice president of the Lions Club of Bridgetown. If it's one image that stays with me of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, it is the sign on the side of the building that says, "The Lions Eye Care," you know? That's one thing that we've seen over the years. And even though there are many service organizations, we've always heard about the work of the Lions Club. So talk to us about the work you're doing, in particular with the United Society for the Blind and this upcoming walk.
What we are doing this Saturday coming, there will be a walk through Bridgetown from Jubilee Gardens to the Golden Square. So we are assisting them with aid, with walking through there if as needs be. And also, like today we'll be having a showcase at the primary school where we just assist them with the games and different things we do, like walk with our kids. Some of them play dominoes, they play cards, cricket, all those things that we assist them with, and also transportation.
All right, and you continue to do, you know, a lot of work with this organization and many others. Dr. Pierce, what would be your advice? I know we talked about people coming forward and getting their eyes checked, but particularly here in Barbados, we have so many challenges with NCDs, and I would imagine that on a day-to-day basis, in addition to treating a lot of people, you know, you have to be one of those advocates saying, take care of these eyes. So I want you to talk to Barbadians who are watching directly now about the importance of really taking care of their eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would really emphasize to people that every day you see people who attend a clinic who unfortunately they're at the stage of the disease where there isn't very much you can do. And if you can pick up these changes a lot earlier, we know, for instance, glaucoma is the leading cause of blindness in Barbados, with approximately 60% of people who are blind having glaucoma. So if you have someone in the family, brother, sister, mother, father, anyone in the immediate family, it's especially important for you to have your eyes checked to make sure that there are no signs of early glaucoma developing. If you're someone who has diabetes, for instance, it's really important that you have your eyes checked once a year, just to detect if there are any early signs of diabetic eye disease that you can either treat or monitor more closely, and then you can try and prevent the end stage of the disease where there isn't very much that you can do to have reduced vision. And I think everyone opens their eyes in the morning and they expect to see really well, but just sometimes that bit more care, if you have high blood pressure, for instance, I almost forgot that, having your blood pressure under control, that can prevent some of the other causes of reduced vision. All of these factors, looking after yourself generally, but also looking after eyes specifically, can make a big difference.
And Mr. Welch, what are some of the areas that the general public, those of us who are out here every single day, what are some of the general areas, where are some of the general areas that we can focus on a little bit more to be able to make life a little easier for those people among us who are, blind or visually impaired?
Well, first, let me say greetings from our President, Janelle Odo, who has been advocating for persons with blindness. I will have to say it is more psychological and less physical. We do need to improve our environment for blind people to maneuver much easily in our country. But the acceptance of society in socializing, engaging us in certain activities. Also, when there's major activities, I find that some areas they forget the disabled. I don't think it was really done by just an oversight, because on many occasions when we go to certain functions and activities, things are not in place. But we try to survive among the society. But I think it's more sensitizing and persons getting to understand that there is a relationship to begin by embracing persons with disability and blind people. But that's an ongoing process, and that is where both parties have to make a serious commitment in order for we to achieve equity.
That starts with things like this, that starts with conversation, and it has to continue with action. So this is a good start. And speaking of action, on that note, I'm going to give you the opportunity, Ms. Vaughn, to give your last words and, offer your congratulatory messages to those people who are intimately involved with the observance today and those who will be working with you coming up this weekend on that walk.
But I am also blind, so I know, as you say, I have the experience of being sightless. So it is not easy out there. So just when you see us out there, you could assist us. And most of us appreciate assistance. Like they don't turn away because they never know when you will really need it. So just assist us. And we would like someone to read for us and let us know what is going on out there. Because sometimes, even when you go into the supermarket, for example, those of us who are sighted, we cannot read the labels because some are too fine. So we just assist us. So, but our organization, the Lions Club of Bridgetown, that is what we do. I said, we provide transportation in any area with NUSB, most likely. We assist, we do a lot of assistance with them. We work with them throughout any projects they have. So that's what we do most all the time. And not only NUSB, anyone that needs assistance, because as you said, we are a service club. So our motto is to serve. So that's what we do. So like, for example, we would also do daily serve breakfast, I should say. We said we can be Turner South Primary School on last Saturday, and we do feeding of the homeless. So that's what we do, provide service to all, not only the blind, but anyone So also I would like to say congratulate all of us, as you say, we blind, we go out in the society, so we don't stay at home, because as someone told me yesterday, is in coming out they grew confidence. Because in home we just see the four walls and they felt that is it, but to see how some of us operate, the only thing we can do is see. So we encourage a lot of people, some we know and some we don't know.
All right. Again, I want to thank all of you for coming on. These segments are just way too short and go way too quickly. So we definitely have to make another space to have you on to talk more about this. Very interesting work. Thank all of you for getting up early and sharing with us. We're going to take a break and come back as we get you ready for the morning report.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world. Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
There is no place like home, but over the past year, home has taken on an especially significant meaning for most. At times, staying at home may be limiting, but it doesn't need to be boring. If you're someone who is great at the DIY life and you've made your home a haven for creating and making new things, this is the show for you. Send us an email at morninbarbados@cbc.vb and share how you've been making it from home.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from one of Barbados's greatest wonders, the amazing Harrison's Cave.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Morning Barbados will continue in a bit, but right now it's time for headline news at 7 with Shane Seeley.
Thank you, Tisha. Here's your headline news for this Thursday morning. A top government advisor this morning reassuring Barbadians that bonds under the Barbados Optional Savings Scheme Plus are safe and there is no danger of losing your investment. Economic advisor Dr. Kevin Greenidge has been updating the morning report on the Boss Plus initiative, which allows average Barbadians and those in the business sector to invest in the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program, BERT 2022, with a very favorable rate of return, 4.5%, over a 5-year period. He says it's a guaranteed means for receiving a return on investment while supporting efforts to grow the local economy.
That's one way in which individual persons, businesses, private sector financials can help be part of the BERT program. When persons buy the Boss bonds, which is absolutely safe, I don't want to go through why it's safe. I mean, just to say, for example, when we did the restructure in 2018, we had no choice but to restructure that. Saving bonds were not restructured because you recognize that those are owned by average Bajans, persons, individually. And so these Boss bonds are the same type. And there's no restructuring horizon. Even if there was, this can be part of them. 2, they offer an attractive interest rate of 4.5, which means if you put down $1,000 at the end of the 5-year period, you get $225 back plus your $1,000. But if you put down it in the bank, you get back 7 cents, and you probably don't get 1,000 because paying fees. So it's a great financial instrument. But the most important thing to say is that by participating in bonds, These purchase bonds, you are helping to finance the 2022, which is allowing us to do things to build this economy and get the growth that we all want to go at. So it's a ring all round for everyone.
The economic advisor to the government of Barbados there, speaking to the Morning Report as part of the Prime Minister's delegation attending the annual joint meeting of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank currently on in Washington, D.C. It's the first in-person meeting of the gathering since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, Barbados was among the 143 United Nations member states voting in favor of a resolution demanding Russia reverse course on the attempted illegal annexation of regions of Ukraine. 5 members, Belarus, North Korea, Nicaragua, Russia and Syria, voted against, and there were 35 abstentions. 12 CARICOM states in total were in support of the resolution. The resolution, now passed in the Assembly, calls on all states, the United Nations and international organizations not to recognize any of Russia's annexation claims and demands the immediate reversal of its annexation declaration. It states the regions of Donetsk, Kherson, Luhansk and Zaporizhia are temporarily occupied by Russia as a result of aggression by Moscow, violating Ukraine's territory and territorial integrity, sovereignty, and political independence. U.S. Representative to the UN, Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield, made it clear Russia is breaking international law. Back at home, the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology is offering on-demand counseling services to students, employees, and families who were affected following a stabbing incident on the campus on Tuesday. In a statement, it noted network services will be available at the institution from today to provide individuals with emotional support where needed. The Institute also reiterated that it will continue to provide quality education in a safe environment, while noting that the SJPI family continues to pray for the speedy recovery of the injured student. Well, government is working to pinpoint where its strengths and weaknesses lie in the event of a disaster. The Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, Senator Dr. Chantal Monroe-Knight, made the revelation as she led off debate on the Catastrophe Fund Amendment Bill in the upper chamber. She says this, along with a recent audit done by the Ministry of Housing, will help the state in its efforts to build resilience in the country's housing stock. Now, one of the amendments to the legislation will allow eligible homeowners and small business owners to access the catastrophe fund before rather than after a disaster. Dr. Monroe-Knight says government is seeking to move away from a reactive approach.
The previous act said the purpose of the fund, the previous 4, the purpose of the fund is to provide financial aid to eligible persons and qualifying businesses in need of such aid as a result of a catastrophe. The catastrophe happened, and then the fund kicks in. Then you can access the fund as a result of a catastrophe. That, Mr. President, is what I'm saying is the reactive approach that we are seeking in the context of this amendment to be able to correct.
And for those of you watching those World Cup warm-ups, there was one on as part of the Tri-Nation series in New Zealand, Bangladesh versus Pakistan. Bangladesh, they made 173 for 6, and in response, Pakistan 177 for 3. And that's our headline news. I'm Shane Seeley. It's back to you, Tishia.
Great. On this World Sight Day. And, you know, like I said, you know, it's very interesting for me to see you in classes, Shane.
After all of these years.
So, you know, it's good that you've taken care of your eyes, because there are a lot of people doing this and, you know, they're not taking care of their eyes. So good stuff.
Need to get those checkups.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well, Tishia.
All right. We'll take a break and come back with more on Morning Barbados. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from one of Barbados's greatest wonders, the amazing Harrison's Cave Eco Adventure Park. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near you. Brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morningbarbados.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Already 10 minutes after 7 o'clock, it's time for us to highlight a few exceptional youth for you as we move through your morning. Very important to not only highlight those of you who are doing wonderful things here in Barbados, but we're reaching out across the world and sharing what young people are doing on an everyday basis, because people here and across the world doing great things equals good stuff happening here in Barbados as well, especially in the areas of climate change and things of that nature. So we're going to be sharing all of that with you. Gimme Peace Pandemic is a very interesting initiative of the Division of Youth Affairs, and it will be launching on Saturday, October 15th. We're going to tell you about that, and that, of course, was in response to the anti-violence campaign initiative, something called Gimme Peace Pandemic. So if you want to find out more about that, you definitely have to keep on listening so that we tell you how you can get peace on the mic, all right? And I love the title for many reasons, but we'll delve into that. Angela Zhang is a HAY ambassador for North America, and when we hear HAY, we think a lot about climate change. Now, she is a first-generation Asian American Harvard sophomore, and at this time, she's taking a break from school, but not from all of the things that she's passionate about. So good morning and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I hope you can hear.
Absolutely, we can hear you. Now, when I read your resume of things you're involved in and how you've been awarded over the years and all of the things you're passionate about, one thing really comes to the fore: climate change. Tell me about how and why climate change touched you in the way that it has, to the point where you've become so involved.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So I grew up in Houston, Texas, which is near the coast of the south region of the United States. And coming from that region, I experienced a lot of natural disasters. So hurricanes are very common in that area, but also flash freezes recently, floods, etc. And so I really early on recognized that a lot of the impacts of climate change were not just happening to like least developed countries, but also like happen in my neighborhoods as well. And so I think that personally motivated me. But then like learning about how so many other countries have it so much worse, like you can take Barbados, for example, as a coral island. Like you think of it as like a tropical paradise, but it's also like sitting on tectonic plates. There's a lot of like sea level rise that's impacting the region, etc. So I think that this is something that really resonates with people across the world, not just myself. And so for all those reasons, I think as a global citizen, it's important for me to leverage like my privilege as someone who does go to like an academic institution like Harvard, as someone who is from the United States and can go on gap years and things like that, to do like the most good that I can at the moment.
As an intern with the UN Capital Development Fund, how are you able to continue your work in the area of climate change, but realize all of what you want to accomplish as an advocate for climate change as well?
Absolutely. So I think my work parallels the work that I do aside from my internship. So I've been really lucky and grateful to have really supportive mentors in that field who allow me to like take trips or even go to conferences with them separately, of course, and assist. So I've been able to experience a lot of different UN related activities such as the General Assembly, COP26, and now COP27, which is a landmark climate change conventions. And so through those processes, I've really recognized that this is something that I would be interested in devoting my career to, because otherwise I really wouldn't have had that exposure. But also the UN Capital Development Fund, or UNCDF, does do a lot of good work on the role of climate as well. So a lot of green and blue bonds. We have a lot of projects focused on oceans. And so I think climate financing specifically is not something that's really considered like a sexy topic by any means, but I definitely think it's really crucial to ensuring that the incentive structures and mechanisms for like sustainable climate advocacy is possible.
Angela, a lot of people hear about climate change, and I think, you know, this generation is certainly a lot more aware of what's happening. Recently in Barbados, we started hearing a lot more about plastics, things like plastics and how they impact our environment. For years, we've been talking about littering because, as you mentioned, as a coral island, as a small island developing state, we might see a lot more, like you, because of where you're situated in the US, we might see a lot more of the impacts than people who live inland on larger continents and things of that nature. So let's talk now about all the ways that people can help to preserve our environment and how they can do better in terms of taking care of our environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that climate change is an issue that affects us all, but it affects some people disproportionately. So definitely don't think that it's on the onus for like those that are most affected to be the ones to like take large scale action or like to change up their lifestyle. But I do think that a lot of these small island developing states, a lot of indigenous communities, immigrant minority communities, etc., have developed a lot of very sustainable practices over time, often like culturally linked or traditionally linked, that do decrease in consumption. And I think that's the most important part, right? So when you think of the phrase reduce, reuse, recycle, the first thing is to reduce, right? It's ideally you would want to not have to like purchase something new to begin with, rather than have to purchase it and recycle it, where it can go down maybe inconsistent streams and create like microplastics like you're talking about. And so from like a consumption standpoint, I do think that the dollar is like worth sort of a signaling power to industry and to different conglomerations as to what people are interested in. And that's sort of why we see this shift towards maybe like ESG or environmental and social governance. But I do think at the end of the day, the onus is definitely on the big polluters, right? I think it's criminal that a lot of the greenhouse gas emissions that we see today are from like maybe 70-ish like multinational companies, and so that's not really something an individual can control. But if you are in those organizations, I do think that you should be leveraging your power to speak out and to try to change this trajectory so that future generations don't have to deal with this. Like, I don't think that people should be obligated to have to change their lifestyles, but unfortunately that's sort of the reality that we're in today.
As a Hey ambassador, if there's one thing you could change about what we do to be able to help the climate in future, help the planet in future, what would it be?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think something that really resonated with me about the Hey ambassadorship is that it really focuses on youth voices, youth empowerment, youth-led initiatives, etc. And so starting from Miss Ashley Lashley, who was like a youth advocate on this issue, and to now to today, I think having youth at the center of climate action is incredibly important, because we're the ones with the incentives to try to change things for the better. And we're the ones with new ideas. We're interested in trying to maybe like imagine or like ambitiously achieve things that maybe like adults don't think are possible. And so I think there needs to be a youth representation in climate negotiations and more consultations on policy issues. And so there's a wealth of knowledge that we have that's just not getting tapped into.
All right, I certainly hope that you're getting a little time for you during your gap year, because that's what it's meant for. And I want to thank you for really reaching across the miles and sharing with us in Barbados this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, as we continue to salute exceptional youth, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back on Morning Barbados. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from one of Barbados's greatest wonders, the amazing Harrison's Cave Eco Adventure Park. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near you, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7:21. Get a move on wherever you're going to school, work. Maybe you're on vacation. Lucky you. I can't complain about that, though. I had a long time off, and it's great to be back. For those of you who went back out this week, I know we had quite a few people who were off, and they came back this week in CBC as well. Welcome back to work. It's good to have you now get to work. All right. So we're telling you now about an initiative that was introduced in 2021 as a joint initiative with CBC and the Ministry of Youth in response to all of the violence that was going on. And an anti-violence campaign was launched, and then came Gimme Peace Pon the Mic. We're going to tell you more about that and how you can get involved and why the initiative is continuing to make strides across our community. Joining us to talk more about it is Corey Marshall, who's a youth commissioner and project coordinator with the Division of Youth Affairs. Good morning to you, Corey.
Good morning, Tisha, and good morning, Barbados. Just to share some information about Gimme Peace on the Mic. As you mentioned, we launched last year as part of the anti-violence campaign in July, and it was so nice that we definitely had to do it twice. So this year we are doing edition 2 of Gimme Peace on the Mic, entitled Gimme Peace on the Mic 2. We're playing on the word peace. I know back in the day, Rankin, Ricky, Lil Rick, Peter Ram, kids like the others, when they did their chants, they all started with Gimme Peace on the Mic. We like to say, give me PC chicken. If we want to get out the van, we say, give me a little piece there, let me get out the van. So we wanted to play on the word peace, but we really want PEACE on the mic, promoting positive vibes among youth through music. So what we really want to do as part of this project is encourage youth between the ages of 13 to 29 to weigh in on the national discourse as it relates to violence through the art form of music. And we are looking to get 3 main things coming out from these chants, from these 1-minute chants. We want to know the causative factors. We want to know if youth know the implications of violence, and we also want insight into diversionary programs and interventions for young people. So that's what we're really trying to achieve through the Give Me Peace on the Mic initiative.
Wonderful. Tell me about how it will unfold. How can people get involved?
Okay, how can people get involved? We are officially launching on Saturday. Last year, as you mentioned, we partnered with CBC, and we invited persons to send the clips. We posted them on our IG page. Persons voted, and then we did the finals live at CBC, where judges determined the winners. But this year, when we did our debriefing last year, it was decided that if we're going to look at young people as the main perpetrators and the main victims of violence, then we also need to look at young people as the main protagonists for change as it relates to this spate of violence that's plaguing our country. So this year, the new addition to Give Me Peace on the Mic, we will be doing a pop-up roadshow on 4 key areas. We have the Building Blocks initiative that was launched back in 2018. So we have 4 areas identified. We're going to the Ivy, we're going to the Pine, we're going to Bonnets, and then we're going to finish in Seville. So we're going to take the show, we're going to take the road show to persons on the block. So how to enter, that I think that was the question that you asked. I just diverted a bit. Persons have to compose a 1-minute video. All chants must start with Give Me Peace on the Mic, and we chose three strategic areas that we wanted persons to focus on so that we get the things that I mentioned coming out, the causative factors, implications, and diversionary tools that we could use as a youth department. So all chants must include the phrase, for violence among youth to stop, we need, so that we get an idea from the young people what they think they need to do to stop this spate of violence in Barbados. All chants must also include the division of youth, we need you too, so that we get an idea from young people what they think we need to do as the leading agency for youth development in Barbados to circumvent the violence in Barbados. So the chants must include those. Once they have that, they email the chants to us at division.youth@barbados.gov.bb. The chants will be vetted, and once they satisfy the criteria, and all of this information is on our page, I would give you that information shortly. But once they satisfy the criteria of the team, we will post the pieces to our Instagram page, DeView246, where they can also go to find more information about the initiative. We will post the pieces there, and then the voting process will begin. But in order, this is very important, in order for persons to vote for the pieces of their choice, they must follow us at DeView246 before they vote. We will only count votes from followers, and not because we just want to increase our following, because we want to tell you, we want to share the wonderful work that we are doing as a youth department with the young persons and other exciting initiatives like this. So we would encourage the young persons, if they're going to vote, to follow us before they do so. The top 9 pieces by vote, along with a wildcard selected by the committee, will go forward to the finals at CBC, and this would be on November 5th. So just to give you an indication of all of the timelines, the pop-up roadshow, as I mentioned, will be October 15th, this Saturday. We'll be going to the 4 blocks that I mentioned. The submission of entries, you can submit your entries from the 15th, which is Saturday again, until the 22nd. We will have the portal open for a submission of entries, division.youth@barbados.gov.bb, spelling out the entire word Barbados. Voting will take place between October 23rd and 28th. The finalists will be announced on the 29th, and then we will have the live finals where the winner will be determined by a panel of judges on November 5th at CBC Studio.
I'm loving it. Sounding good. And of course, you're getting a chance to see some of what went down last time around. We had Give Me Peace on the Mic. I think it's a fantastic initiative. And there's so many young people out here looking for ways to express themselves, to be able to share their talents. This is a great way to be able to get it out. We saw some of the prizes that were coming up last year, but I see that we have some amazing prizes for this time around as well. So talk to us about that.
Yes, we do. This year, as I mentioned before, it was so nice. We had to do it twice, and we had to improve and increase the prices as well. So last year, The winner got an S21 of $500 this year, and I have the prize, some of the prizes here. Unfortunately, I don't have $1,000 cash on me, but the winner this year will be receiving a S22 Plus along with $1,000. Second place, a S21 and $750, and third place, a Samsung A72 and $500 cash. So those will be the exciting prizes we have on offer. We also have a viewer's prize, so the viewers can look out for this. We have a Samsung Galaxy A03s that would be for the viewer. Stay tuned for how you can win that prize on our Instagram page, TheView246.
That's not bad at all for a 1 minute rap at all, where you tell me, you know, you lay it out. You say, you gotta say, give me peace, Bundy Mike, to make things right. The violence must stop before my mic drop. I might have to enter the competition. Even though I don't particularly fall under the category of youth anymore, but it's certainly great to see avenues for young people to be able to get out and showcase their talent and, you know, share with their peers in this way. I want to thank you, Corey, Youth Commissioner and Project Coordinator with the Division of Youth Affairs. Good morning to everybody at Youth Affairs. I feel like I know everybody. I feel like I know everybody at Youth Affairs, you know, with the work that I've done with you guys over the years as well. So I certainly look forward to this one. And I love the play on the words. Last word is with you.
Okay, the last words, check us out on TheView246. Don't miss this opportunity. We have some exciting prizes. Come out to the blocks. We'll be in the Ivy, we will be the Pine, Bonnets, and finally Silver Hill, the Building Blocks Initiative. Come out, we'll have a live concert. We have last year's winner and a couple of other performers that will be performing live. Come out and see the positive things that young people are doing in Barbados. Thank you.
For sure, and thank you. Remember, that's the Instagram, DivYouth246, on Facebook, Division of Youth Affairs. The website is youthaffairs.gov.bb. You can check them out on YouTube as well, Division of Youth Affairs. So definitely want to be a part of Gimme Peace, Bunny Mike. Have a great day, Corey.
You as well.
All right, good stuff. The time is moving. It's not waiting for anybody. 29 minutes now before 8 o'clock. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, another exceptional youth. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from one of Barbados's greatest wonders, the amazing Harrison's Cave Eco Adventure Park. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near you. Brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Wake up, morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the
28 minutes now before 8 o'clock. Kobe Bowen is a professional fighter. That's not something you usually hear in Barbados, but he's also the owner of a kickboxing studio called KB Kickboxing. And he's in now to tell us all about his journey, how he's been able to develop this space, and how he got there. Of course, he went to school at St. Leonard's Boys School as well. So a big shout out on that. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, what was interesting for me is you openly said, okay, I guess someone asked you, you know, what piqued your interest in kickboxing? And you said, well, you were always interested in fighting. So qualify that for me and talk to me about the natural progression of how that interest you were able to turn it into a business and something that you're so passionate about and do so well.
Okay, so firstly, I'm not just a kickboxer. I'm a professional fighter. So I would have competed in various art forms such as bare knuckle boxing, pro MMA, amateur MMA, and as we know, kickboxing. But it would have all started at the secondary school I attended, St. Leonard's Boys. I was always a cricket at heart. Cricket was my passion, my first sport, and my first love. Until one fateful day, all of the students rushed over to pavilion. I assumed that a fight was happening. I wanted to be, front row to see the fight play out. But as it turns out, it was just some boxing coaches from Cuba, which they were conducting a program at the school, teaching the kids how to box during the lunch hour. And from there, I was captivated by what I saw. So for the next class, I definitely signed up because I was very intrigued of boxing and what boxing is. So as we went on, I definitely trained boxing for about 1 month or 2 months before there was an opening for a kickboxing tournament locally here. So I got into contact with the organizer for this event, and he was very hesitant to allow me to fight simply because this was a kickboxing event, and my background was mainly boxing. But nevertheless, he allowed me, he gave me a chance to compete, and I went on to finish that fight in the second round, and from there, the rest is history. I just continue doing it every day.
Wow. Now, I understand you competed in competition last week, October 8th or so. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so I competed in New York for the international 145-pound featherweight championship of the United States against Rick Schaefer for Flex Fighting Championship. This one was a lot different for me because this time around I was the main event. So there was a lot of pressure, there was a lot of hype going into this fight. And, despite not getting the win, I managed to take away a lot from it. Experience being a massive factor, and also putting Barbados on the map and, showcasing what, athletes from Barbados can do. And, showcasing to other people as well that, it's okay to take that leap of faith and, to chase your dreams.
Oh man, I know that we see this kickboxing and the MMA and all of this, and for people like me who are punks and squirmish, I'm like, oh my, look at this. Has there ever been a time where you've been nervous about injury, or, does it just, I don't even know. Like this is just so out there for me. How do you manage with the battles? Because I would imagine you have a few battle scars.
No, I don't have much battle scars, honestly. Like, a lot of people, automatically think just because you're a fighter, you do things that are not traditional, then there's a big risk. There is a big risk involved in fighting, but the more you get to learn about martial arts, the more you get to learn about combat, not even on a competitive level, the less scary it becomes. For example, the number one rule of most contact sports is to protect yourself at all times. So before you actually learn how to compete and let's say beat other people up or fight other people, you learn how to protect yourself and do so in the best way possible. So yeah.
You've also outside of kickboxing, you've also started a gym. So talk to me about that, because a big part of kickboxing and boxing and fighting is fitness. So you've been able to really capitalize on that as well.
Yes. So about 3 years ago, I would have resigned from my job so that I could pursue fighting, wholeheartedly and just be involved in it 24/7. Mainly because I definitely was not getting the results that I would have wanted, having to work, a 9 to 5 and then, train after or train before my 9 to 5. So during my school years, I would have studied like sciences, I would have done CAPE in, PE, so on and so forth, and I went on to do like coaching courses. So as a result of this, I was really passionate about fighting, but I had to be very realistic about my approach. So as a result of that, I, pursued entrepreneurship. In the eventuality that, I get injured today or tomorrow, or, God forbid something happens that prevents me from continuing to fight. I could still be enveloped in what I love. And to me, that meant the most. I recall before making that decision, uh, a, a gentleman told me, I never seen it again in life, but he mentioned to me that when you grow old and you're on your deathbed and you can't do much for yourself, you don't regret the things that you did. You often regret the things that you didn't do. And it stuck with me because I did not want to live my life wondering, what if? What if I continue fighting? Or what if I wrote this song? Or, you know, I just didn't want to live my life with any regret. So I took the leap of faith. And it is, it's finally paying off. Is, people are being more aware of all of the hard work and consistency that I would have put out throughout the years. So for that, I'm very ecstatic.
Let's talk more about the highlights of your career, some of the things that really stand out with you. Because, in this side of the world, on this part of the world, we usually sit back and we see the UFC fighters and all that's happening, usually through television or online, but you are out there and participating with the best of them. So talk to us about the highlights for you.
Some of my highlights would definitely have to be, I traveled to Trinidad to compete in amateur MMA. And I had the honor of having Herb Dean, who is one of the best, most renowned referees in the entire fight business. He's refereed for Bellator, he's refereed for UFC, mainly across the big organizations in fighting. And, he refereed one of my fights, so that definitely stands out because, it was truly an honor to have met Herb Dean and have him officiate one of my fights. Another highlight for me was definitely in 2018 when I competed in the US Kickboxing Sander tournament and I, won gold in my respective division. Then thirdly, it would definitely have to be the main event that I would have competed in last Saturday, simply because it was different and, it was a new experience. It was, not just the level of competition I would have faced, but the entire journey leading up to that and the fact that I was able to, hang with the big boys, it gives me more motivation to go back to the drawing board and, become better and strategize new ways on going forward.
Kobe, I want you to create that spectacle out by the pavilion again, like the spectacle was for you with the Cuban boxers who were creating, a bit of a spectacle with the little ones rushing over to see what was going on and how much that impacted you. I think, of course, heading back to the school could create that same impact for some other young people, or even if it's just one young person, it would be interesting. I can think of a few people that I think would be very, very interested in learning what you do.
Okay, so like I would have mentioned, usually in secondary school, when a fight starts, everyone wants to go to the front where everyone wants to be able to view what's happening. And at that time, I was one of those students. So when we all rushed to the pavilion to see what was happening, we came across the two boxing coaches, I believe Felipe and Gary Bowen, conducting a training session with a few students. And I was mesmerized, like just witnessing it. I just got goosebumps. It just felt as though it was for me. And so I just immediately signed up for the next class, the classes were conducted on Tuesdays during the lunch hour. So there wasn't much room to learn much, but they were still, an hour to maximize and make the most of what you can do. So seeing that I have become so obsessed with fighting, I had asked about further training and they recommended me to come to the national stadium gym to conduct more training. And, I did so and I learned very quickly, and that's how I managed to, go forward to compete a month or two later.
I want to thank you for sharing with us the best. And like I said, certainly I hope that we can organize something so you could get some of those boys getting out and seeing who amongst them would be interested in professional fighting, or perhaps just learning more about kickboxing and fighting and things of that nature. So thank you for your wonderful work, Kobe.
Thank you very much. It's truly an honor to be here, and it's truly an honor to broadcast like my journey to the thousands of people here in Barbados to let them know, well, you don't necessarily have to join kickboxing or to be a competitor. You can do it for the fitness aspect, you can do it for self-defense, and more importantly, I advise whether it's the youth or adults, to always chase your dreams. Sometimes it's bittersweet, sometimes you're successful, sometimes you aren't, but consistency matters, and at the end of the day, you do not want to live life with any regrets. At least I don't want to. So that's why I'm here today.
I love it. Thank you so much. And we certainly will take your words into the day. Do not live your life with regrets. All right. It's already just about 14 minutes to go before 8 o'clock. We are bringing some sunshine when we come back. Zoe Sunshine. She is going to come on and share with us on this World Sight Day.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from one of Barbados's studios. Our next guest is a talented vocalist. She is also a former member of Operation Triple Threat. She's a motivational speaker. She's an actress. She is Zoe Sunshine, aka Zoe Trotman. Good morning. There's quite a delay in what's happening here. How are you doing? Good to have you with us this morning. All right, it doesn't seem that Zoe can hear us, but she's smiling brightly.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay, I certainly hope that's not the delay of how long it's taking for you to hear me.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. This technology,
Yes,
my
I can hear you.
goodness. All right, so you are going to be taking part in the Richard Stout Teen Talent Over 21 competition, and we're going to tell you more about that, but we're going to have to get in there and do a little something to make sure that that delay is not so big. That's too long a delay for us to have a conversation. But Zoe Sunshine has been performing for quite a long time as a member of Operation Triple Threat. I would imagine that, it just opened your mind to performance and singing and dancing and acting in a totally different way. So let's start there. Tell us about your experience with OTT. Oh, wow. Technology. And here I am excited all about what we will talk to Zoe about. We're going to try to get her refreshed. That internet is definitely something that we have to work on. So I was telling you, she is also an actress in Into the Darkness, which is a piece by Stockton Miller, and is set to hit cinemas later this month. So you'll be able to see her on the big screen as well, as they call it, the silver screen, acting. In the interim, she's also sharing her music and loving what she does. She says that she realized that she had a real knack for singing when she was much, much younger, and she's going to continue sharing in that regard. So tell you what, we are going to take a break here as we continue. Okay, seems she is back. Are you with us for real this time? In real time?
I am with you for real this time. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh boy, you're gonna give me fever.
I'm
But
so
welcome.
sorry. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. Only this morning. Okay, so tell me about your experience in being a part of OTT.
Oh, my experience with being a part of OTT was incredible. I did do theater arts at BCC, so that really started my passion and my drive for theater. But being a part of OTT was another level. They were preparing you for the possibility of performing overseas. And all the kids, all the other teenagers, they were just talented, it's super amazing, and it made me feel like I was in the right place at the right time.
Now, you said that you're now entering the Richard Stout over 21 competition, and it really is kind of like sharing love for your grandmother whom you lost recently. So tell me about that journey and that decision to enter the competition at this time.
Yeah. Sorry. every time I every time I talk about her, every time I think about her, it just brings the memory of her so strong. But she always encouraged me to follow my dreams, to do what I love, to not be afraid to live my life. And just like Mr. Bowen, you don't want to regret anything. You want to make sure that you put your best foot forward and you do exactly what you want to do. And that's really important. So having her, I guess, spirit of me, surrounding me, her being there, it's comforting and it's everything that I need.
What was the experience like working on the movie with Stockton Miller that we're looking forward to see later this month? What was the experience like working on that? And how is it different from maybe just getting on stage with a mic?
Wow, the camera is really in your face. That's one thing for sure. It's really and it picks up on like things. So where you're on the stage and you have to be more dramatic, more like you have to be bigger. Being on camera is very like every little thing from moving your hair to like smiling. They capture everything closely, and that is my first time being being in a movie and I felt very excited to be in that movie. I've heard a lot about Stockton and I feel so like blessed and honored to be a part of his journey, and I can't wait for everybody to see it. Honestly I think it's going to be amazing.
Zoe, you're also a content creator and motivational speaker. You have a YouTube channel called Zoe Sunshine. Tell me more about that.
Well, I've been struggling with YouTube for a while, and I finally found my footing. YouTube is a way to keep myself accountable. I suffer from depression and anxiety, and I know that there are a lot of other people out there who are dealing with their mental health, and they're having issues dealing with it. They don't know how to because our society, if I'm being completely honest, they don't prepare you for dealing with these things. And I wanted to be that outlet that people could come and see that they're not suffering alone, and here are different things that you can do in order to prepare yourself mentally, prepare yourself physically, prepare yourself for life, because life can throw things at you and you can never be prepared enough, but at least you'll have that outlet that you can look at and you can see that somebody else is going through what you're going through, and it's a friendly face, so it should be a little nicer.
It's great that you can share that in this forum openly And, you know, before people were so reluctant to share their struggles with mental health or depression or anxiety. So thank you for sharing that. And we really appreciate that you are still out here smiling so beautifully and sharing about your journey. You're also getting ready to release a single, as if all that wasn't enough. You're getting ready to release, is it the self-love single?
Yes, it is. It's the self-love song, and I did it with Mad Mixie. He's produced a lot of work in our island, so it is an honor to work with him as well.
All right. You are definitely an exceptional young woman and doing fantastic things. You said that you are going to leave your mark on the entertainment scene, and I dare say you are well on your way. Yeah?
Thank you.
This delay is crazy. But it was wonderful speaking with you today. And
thank you so much.
You know, where do you hope to take all of this? So you're doing everything you learned with Operation Triple Threat. You're singing, you're dancing, you're acting, you're doing motivational speaking, you're content creating. You know, what's the end game?
Well, I had a dream recently that I was in a film with Viola Davis. So that is the dream. The dream is to pursue acting, to pursue singing, and to not give up, to continue to fight and follow so that other people know that it is not impossible. In our small island, it is not impossible for you to do what you love. If you are a creative, it is possible for your creation, for your mad people. So that's the end game for me. I'm going to keep pursuing it. I'm going to keep working hard, and eventually it will happen for me. Eventually.
I believe it will. Zoe Armstrong, also known as Zoe Sunshine, definitely bringing the sunshine to Morning Barbados today in the midst of all the rain. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and I wish you all the best. All right, we're going to take another break, and then we wrap it all up. Can you believe it? It's already 4 minutes before 8 o'clock. Stay with us for the last bit of Morning Barbados.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together. There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from one of Barbados' greatest wonders, the amazing Harrison's Cave Eco Adventure Park. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near you. Brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Morning to you.
Hey, just 2 minutes to go before 8 o'clock. We want to remind you, can't believe we're already almost at the end of another week. That's right, tomorrow we are broadcasting live from Harrison's Cave Eco Adventure Park. I had to make sure that I got it right. You know how it is with all these name changes. But we are going to be there, and we are broadcasting live from Harrison's Cave Eco Adventure Park. You don't want to miss that. We're going to share all about what's happening there at the park, all the new and exciting things you can do, all the new and exciting rides. And I hear there's no zip lining and this and that and the other. Woo, I'm very excited. I definitely am going to go with an open mind and ready to share in all that it has to offer. Also, coming up today, we are going to be heading out to Q in the community. We are at Worthing Square in Christchurch. It gets started around 11 o'clock. You can follow, of course, on 100.7 FM, QFM. They usually are there and sharing with you. So Worthing Square, here we come for Q in the community with DJ King Scorpion, DJ Scotty, DJ Ronnie Fresh, and the entire Q in the community family will be coming out. Thanks so much to all of the proud sponsors who are a part of the Q in the community initiative, an initiative of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. So again, before we go, join us tomorrow with the compliments of Omega XL. Of course, they are agents for probiotics, and they are the sponsor for the show tomorrow. So join us then. Here's where we wrap up today's show, though. So travel safely, have a good day, and don't forget to wear your smiles. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.